Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to TRG Central for an APBA Saddle Racing for Windows special presentation. I've decided to dust off my APBA Saddle Racing for Windows PC game to do a special project. We had some folks over at Delphi forums and the APBA Between the Lines discussing the APBA Saddle Racing for Windows game over the last few months, and I suggested maybe I can get the game rolling again and do a special project, along with possibly going over how the game system works. So, we'll go ahead and just start the game up. And there you have the opening screen for the game. Right now I have the DRM2 set as the practice dataset. This will be my special project dataset. First, before we go into special project, let's go take a look at some of the advanced options that the game is using for this project. See, there's a few tabs here. And the first tab is APBA advanced options. And you see there's more tables that APBA Saddle Racing game. You see all of these are labeled something a little different with APBA. Select the drop downs, you see there's a couple variations to the original APBA. This is no longer actually the original two revisions. Anybody with a little bit of history of this realize that even though the revision seemed to fix things, it also had a tendency to break others. So what we did here for ASRG is create our own based on the original, and this is part of our table is painting the revision. Came up with one in the APBA journal that a good friend of mine, Doug Reese, helped to create. Doug was very essential part of the project of creating the APBA Saddle Racing Windows game. That's well over a year to get a couple of practices. Okay. Also a timing table. Again, there was two of them, and then we came up with another one. Length behind table, the same thing, and the length behind table. I'd like to go back, and since I mentioned Doug, I should mention another fellow who helped me later on in the game. Him and I were the ones that came up with the ASRG one. That was one. Why that? Go ahead and maybe talk about if Doug has also have another tab for more options. One check mark for the one option thing. Project. All of these are new options that will gain. First one is the horse's initiative training. One of the horses coming out of the gate close to Division 1, close to Division 10. The horse is given an initiative rating, and that's what is used for the horses down against. So they're now staggered depending on the horse's rating. Maybe horse and post position 8 might come out first.
Get your peanuts here.
And so forth. Another option we added was the horse endurance rating. That's based on how well he did in distances. Like sprinters may have endurance of 7 or 8 furlongs, while the distance horses to go half a mile or higher.
Get your peanuts here.
A mile and a half or higher. And that's 12 furlongs and out. Most of the horses in my project will be either 10 or 12 furlongs, and we'll be running more distance races in the project. This little option here allows for horses that had distance numbers and sprint numbers on their card to be able to go distances. Normally, APBA either cards a horse for distance or a horse for sprint. And if you look at the cards, you see a marked difference that the distance horses have result numbers of less than 21, and others have result numbers 21 and greater. APBA also carded a few horses that had a bunch of distance numbers, but a couple sprinter numbers too, sprinkled. And that would mean the horse probably ran in some shorter races, 6 or 7 furlongs during the season, along with the even if they had just a couple 6 to 7 furlong races, APBA changed some of the distance numbers to sprint numbers. So essentially all this does is to give the horse a true distance card by changing all the sprint numbers after the 7th furlong. Hampered by distance numbers that would normally generate much smaller movement amounts later in the race than at the beginning of the race. Another one we're kind of using, this is just an overall one, this project will probably never be a race that...
This crowd is
wild! None of the horses are in Index 1, so what the game will do is bump everybody's rating up until somebody gets to the Index 1 rating. Then the race is run using those ratings for the horses. In other words, that'll potentially speed up all the lower horses in a lower grade race. And this also enhances the ability to get better timings of races for when you run horses of less quality. Another one that we've added was the handicapping. All the horses now have a carrying weight rating on their card. In other words, average of 122 pounds during the year. And he was able to get good results with that weight. While what the handicapping does, you can change his weight that he's in they are going to carry for the race. And if you change the rate to more, that would lower the horse's race. The horse a lower amount to carry, like 120 instead of 122, that would help enhance the horse's cars and perform better. In other words, as handicappers, you're trying to make most races as even as possible as far as odds making. And then we have a really cute thing that I like to use betting, and that's rumors. You can go to a racetrack, and you may hear a particular rumor about a jockey or a horse that may or may not affect the running of that horse during the race. Another thing we added was using the whip. Using the whip in try to get a better result. And the reasoning behind that is the little chart that every horse has for the end of the whip, and was created using their best race of the year. They were actually on that chart for the most part of the race. They would be able to either run as good as the best race of the year or possibly the best race that they ever run. It's a chance to give that horse that one-of-a-kind special race. And the other thing that we added that I'm using is track advantage. It may or may not project. You have to understand that when we create data disks, a lot of times we'll give them actual stats. We'll even have their actual races that they ran. So if a horse would run a race using one of our data disks in a racetrack that they had raced on in real life, that track. And then there's also a thing called the movement cost table. It could have been with the other tables on the first tab here. And it's the same idea. There was a regular one and an APBA revised one. We also have a few other tabs here for a day at the races module, the stake management module, and this tab here controls the picture formats and sound options. Finally, the one I like to go over before I get into the project details is the betting module options. And for this project, I'm going to try to have the episode staggered good enough that somebody would like to wager on a race. They would have the odds in one episode, and then the next episode we run the races, and the time in between the episode for the odds creation and the running, they could wager on. So we're going to be able to sell from the account. You'll get $500, 500 credits, dollars, whatever, and we'll limit the wager to no more than $100 per wager, just so you don't run out of money too fast in the game. I'm going to set it up to a max of 50 bettors.
Hot dog! Hot dog!
Anybody that would like to wager on the race. And then this is a little interesting thing here. When the game calculates the win, place, and show pools along with all the exotic pools of money that was wagered, The state and local authorities are going to take out their share of money before the general public. This just gives you the percentage of how much they're going to take out of the pool. Okay, as you see down here, we'll be allowing all of the exotic wagering throughout the project, and the last option here at the bottom is to allow pari-mutuel betting. This allows the odds to change.
This crowd is wild.
Handicapping has come up with. That's using the APBA boards. And then, once the wagering is in for all the horses, the odds are then calculated based on the amount of money wagered on each horse. And that's the final odds before will constantly change and may change dramatically, which gives you a little spice to the betting. Okay, so let's go back and return with no changes. Okay, so that's a quick overview of some of the options that we'll be using
Enid, get your peanuts here.
in the project. So let's kind of go over the project. What I decided was I'd like to run a project that has quite a number of very good horses, but I needed some type of criteria to decide what horses are going to be entered. So what I decided to do is have run a tournament. The tournament will have 64 horses, which means that we'll be running in the first round 8 races of 8 horses in each race for a total of 64. So now I needed easy way of figuring out what horses were going to be in the reports, and we'll pull the horse information, and we'll run the horse ratings report. Okay, here you see there's actually 68 horses. But one that I have ended up doing is I decided to use Triple Crown winners of 2+ races and a few special friends. While doing the research, I found out that there were 65 horses that won 2 or more Triple Crown races in a given season. Unfortunately, 5 of those winners were before 1900. I decided not to card them, which left me with 60 horses to card between 1900 and 2000. So, I still needed 4 more horses since I was running a 64 horse tournament. So I did a little more research and found there were a few fillies that won 1 Triple Crown race. And if you would forward here on gender, you'll see that I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 fillies that, well, let's back up a second. 6 fillies that are listed here won 1 Triple Crown race. There were no fillies that ever won 2 Triple Crown races. So that gave me 6 more horses. A little more than I actually wanted. So thought a little more and figured let's have another, what we call play-in race. We'll have 8 horses entered in that race. And then the top 4 horses will advance to the first round, which I'm calling the round of 64. So, in doing that, I still needed a couple more horses. So, One more that I found was Ruffian, which was a pretty interesting horse because in 1975 what they call the Philly Triple Crown, which is the Triple Tierra, and she won all three of those races. So I had a few people on APBA between the lines mention that they'd like to see Ruffian in the group. So I added Ruffian because she was a Triple Sierra winner. And then there was one more slot. I needed an eighth one, so I picked up on Seabits again a couple of the members on Delphi, and through a little conversation, Seabits' name came up. The only issue with Seabits is Seabits is not even enter any of the three Triple Crown races in 36. So the 3-year-old car is not very strong compared to most of the field. You see it is rated an 18. Highest rating is a 25. So he, compared to others, is rated a bit lower. He really didn't get his popularity until age 4 and 5, where he really came on the scene, and later in his career also. Oh, and just a quick look, you can sort by ratings, and we'll get sort by ratings. These are the horses ratings on dirt, and you'll see there's a bunch of 25s, a whole bunch of 24s, so forth, all the way down to Seabits at 18, and Little Current, although he won 2 races, major races, in his 3-year-old season, still only managed to 16. Now I'll have to also mention that you can see there's a lot of horses outside of the range that APBA created. And Little Current is actually one from inside, and that's his rating on his original APBA card. So I thought it was a 16. I'm not sure how he could have won 2 Triple Crown races with the 16, but that's how he was rated. Maybe somebody knows that was a misprint, and that rating may have been a 22 or something. But anyway, we're going with the original APBA cards there. Any cards, like I said, that are outside the range of cards that APBA created, we created with our own horse generator specifically for either this project or one of the sets that we had created for the Windows game way back when. Okay, so that's a little information about the project, why I selected the project, and how I decided on the horses for the project. So let's go and take a look at how the tournament is actually going to run. So let's get out of this, and we'll go over to the run schedule. Now I have a schedule created for the tournament. The play-in round will be a 3-year-old race. That's 10 furlongs, $500,000, and that's for the 7 fillies, and Seabits will be entered into that race. And then 4 of those horses will advance to the round of 64. Now, 4 of the races in the round of 64 have 8 horses already entered that I selected, and 4 others only have 7. And the top 4 horses out of the play-in race will be slotted into those 4 races. So, and then you can see it'll be the quarterfinals. There'll be 4 races there. Each one of those will have 8 horses. the qualifiers begin into the quarterfinals, and the top 4 horses in each of the round of 64 races will move on to the quarterfinals. And then the same thing will occur. The top 4 horses in each one of the quarterfinals will go into the 2 semifinals, and then the top 4 horses from each semifinals race will be entered into the final race. You can see we arbitrarily gave the horses for the races, round of 64 million, 2 million for the quarters, 4 million for the semifinals, and $8 million purse for the finals. So who's going to be entered in what race, and how do we determine that? Well, let's go back and we'll go to the utilities again, and we'll do view reports, and we can go over here to feature race information. And here again are all the races that will be run in the tournament. And click on it. Anyway, these are all the races, so let's go see who's in each of the races. Go back. I guess we can just go here. There's a few ways of doing this, but we can go to
Welcome to APBA Downs, home of the APBA.
Pick a feature race. And then you come down here and you can scroll through all the races. So here's that play of the race. We get the horses. You can see, like I said, there's all of your fillies and sea biscuits. We'll also be doing a drawing the post positions too. So these post positions will change. You also notice that we have the same jockey ride the Ruffian and Genuine Risk. The same jockey will ride that because he has different ratings for different years. Since there was no, I don't think there's any horse that, any year that we have 2 horses, for, other than maybe Sea Biscuit. Sea Biscuit may be matched up in the same year with somebody else. So normally there is no reason to have the same jockey of the same year riding 2 horses. That's probably not going to happen unless you physically create a race to do that. So anyway, that's the play-in race. And then we'll go over to the round of 64, and we'll display the 8 races there. Okay, this here has one of the races that has 7 horses in it. Like I said, the round of 64 will supply the 8th. And you can see that's a pretty interesting field. And we'll go over to the second race. This has 8 horses in it. Seattle Sioux, American Pharaoh are very good right horses there. Go to the third race. Now there's 7 horse headers so far in the field. And there's 3 names there. It's War Admiral. And remember him and Cephas, they had that fantastic match race in 1930. Or was it 38? Oh, it's one of those years. Hey, let's go on to the next one. Heat race number 4. Oh, we have a little issue with Man of War. We'll fix that up later. Race 7, we have Citation, Northern Answer, race 6, California Crown, Justify, race 7. I'll have another, we'll have to get him involved in the race. And 8, missing one more. Okay, so anyway, those are the races. So let's get back out of this. And yeah, maybe we can see the ridge marks here a little bit too. Okay, race 1, race 2, heat race 3, 4, here's 4 Man of War, heat race 5, heat race 6, heat race 7, and heat race 8. Okay, so that's about it of going over the project. And just a little quick piece of information. What I ended up doing, we'll go back over what I ended up doing is for each of the 8 different around the 64 horses, I went and used like all the 25 horses, and I put 1 or 2 in each of the 8 races, and then went to 24, and I spread that about among the 8 races and so forth. So we have a little bit of very good, excellent horses all mixed together. Now we'll also be doing, as I said, the drawing. And we're gonna use my other game to get the post position right, until I have a really cool interface to do that. So since we only have one play of the race to do, so we'll bring up the other game. And it also has all the horses rated for this game too. And you can see I already have it all set up. So what you can do, let's go to the reports real quick. And we'll take a quick look at the roster here. And you can see the same thing. This game rates them a little differently, and all 68 horses are here too. So what I'm gonna do is then we can go into the race selection screen, and we'll pull the play of the race. That's this one here. And you see that the same list as what was in the other game. The nice feature about this is you can go over to here, and you can go over to the convention center to draw the post position. Now in the other game you can draw post positions too, but it's only good if you run the race right away. Here you can change the post position and actually save them, and then you can run the race later after, if you're using the vending module, have people wager on the race beforehand, knowing what the post positions are ahead of time instead of right before the race. So, go ahead and you see here, this is the field. And then these are the post positions down here. And if you click on like a picture, you'll get the horse's information. And you can see here we have post position options. You can do a manual, which is moving one horse down to another post position and so forth. Or you can do an automatic. An automatic can also have this checkbox, and it'll draw the post position either from the outside to the inside or from the inside to the outside. Outside to the inside kind of gives you a little more suspense on who's actually going to be in post position 1, and that's the way we'll do it. Over here you can see a few rules that we use for the other game to and some instructions on how to use it. So we'll go ahead and click on the auto draw, and that's me if we're ready to draw for the post positions. And we have Skydiver going in position 8. And then we have Regret sliding into position 7. And you see we have the horse's photograph here and the name on the post position number. So we'll go through these. Next one is 6, and it was General Rich. Post position 5 is Winning Colors. Post position 4 is Rachel Alexandra. Alexandra. I'll get it right, don't worry. So that leaves us with 4 more horses. Let's throw here's number 3. Oh, defense just gets position 3. Right to riches at 2, so everybody knows now which one is going to be post position 1, and that'll be Ruffian. So there you have it. The post positions are done. I can save them into this game, and I'll transfer the post positions over to the other game so we can get some odds. Okay, so that's the only thing we'll use this game for, is to use that interesting procedure to do the post positions. Okay, so I guess what we need to now do is see if I can make a quick change to the post positions. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull up the file that has the information. Hello? Hi. Okay, sorry for that delay. I had a phone call. So let's go ahead and get this thing updated. Well, it looks like it's going to take me a little longer to set this up. I really wasn't prepared to do that. And this video is already taking a bit longer than I thought. So we're going to end this video here. Again, essentially, this first episode was to go over a little bit about the APBA Saddle racing game for Windows and to discuss a little bit about the project that I'm going to run using my game, and to just know that there'll be a few episodes, probably one episode for every round of the tournament, and there'll be one episode before each round of the tournament that'll we'll do the post positions and the odds. So anybody that would like can wager on the races before in the video of the actual races. So anyway, this is Gary from TRG Central. We'll be signing off, and we'll have a second video up later this evening with the post positions of the play-in race and the morning odds, so we can start setting up for wagering if anybody would like to wager on the races. Well, again, this is Gary signing off.